We all know who Batman is, one of the most iconic superheroes ever created. Batman has been adapted into countless video games to tell his story. He's been on every console since the Amstrad CPC in 1986. Recently though, we have arrived at the 10-year anniversary of what is in my opinion the best Batman video game adaptation, Rocksteady's Batman Arkham Asylum. 10 years later, we all know the game and we have no choice but to recognize how the game innovated a rhythm-based combat system. It combined robust action sequences with carefully crafted stealth mechanics to round out a truly incredible experience in gaming. It focused just as much time onto the character of Batman as well. It brought attention to his detective ability, the use of his gadgets and equipment to overcome various obstacles, and most importantly, the backstory and lore of not only Batman, but the whole Gotham universe. And as a longtime fan of Batman, and particularly the dark and gritty representations of the character, this game played all the right keys to get me hooked onto it. Everything from the comic influence from Grant Morrison's Arkham Asylum, Dennis O'Neil's Venom, and Alan Moore's Killing Joke, to the use of the animated series voice actors for the characters like Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, and Arlene Sorkin. It's the first into a series of Arkham Batman games of this style, and it's still my favorite, solely based on Batman's interactions with Dr. Jonathan Crane, otherwise known as Scarecrow. There are 3 total scenes with Scarecrow, and they are beautiful moments of level design and world building that to this day rank as some of my favorite moments in gaming. So let's talk about Arkham Asylum's beautiful use of Scarecrow, Batman, and fear.
And at the end of fear, oblivion.
Arkham Asylum is a crazy and broken place, but with a little help you can go much deeper into the madness, and help is what you get from Scarecrow. You're introduced into Scarecrow's presence in the asylum as you come across multiple patients out of their minds, gripped by terror, as you see Scarecrow running in the shadows back behind him. Joker comes over the intercom excited that the doctor has started his experiments and asks Batman what he's really scared of. Is it failing the city? Is it not finding Commissioner Gordon in time? Or is it
Me in a thong?
Unknown to the player and to Batman, the fear toxin has already infiltrated Batman's psyche, and Joker hit the nail on the head. Batman is terrified of not saving Gordon in time. Ominous music takes over and the camera angle turns to a discreet but unsettling angle as the Commissioner is dragged across the screen moments before a heartbroken Batman finds his lifeless body in the hallway.
I'm sorry, Jim.
Batman attempts to call Oracle, Gordon's daughter, but the call never connects.
Barbara, I'm sorry. I was too late.
I'm sorry. The number you've dialed isn't available. Please leave a message after the tone.
He continues down the hall where the dreadful music continues and roaches begin to pour out of the walls until Batman enters the morgue and silence takes over. Until that silence is taken over by whispers, and then those whispers are taken over by demands. These voices drive you to run out of the morgue, but when you open that door to exit, it re-enters you back into the same morgue, only this time with 3 body bags presented on the autopsy tables. And the first bag is Batman's father.
Father?
You should have stood up to him, son. Like a man.
And the second bag is Batman's mother.
Mom?
Help us, Bruce! Don't let us die!
And in the final bag is none other than Scarecrow, who injects you with this toxin and drowns you into his world of fear. You turn around and the morgue has transformed into a broken reality, a surreal nightmare. Arkham is ripped into a new dimension, hovering above an abyss of emptiness. You see a glimpse of the bat signal in the distance before Scarecrow's enormous stature is presented to you. His fingers are syringes filled with fear toxin like a chemist twisted into Freddy Krueger. He's draped in these shredded rags for clothes and a sinister gas mask sits upon his head, the holes taking the form of bright floodlights that he uses to scour this new area for you, for Batman. The actual level is quite simple, some basic platforming to make your way around Scarecrow while keeping clear of his gaze, but it's the symbolism of this level that elevates it. Batman's fear. You are shown that he fears failing to save Gordon. This represents a deeper fear. This twisted landscape is presented at an angle where Batman is minuscule. A giant hovering scarecrow shadows over everything. But most notably, he's looking for Batman. He is breathing down his neck. He's using spotlights to reveal him. These spotlights not only represent death if caught out, but is perhaps a metaphor of actually putting a spotlight onto Batman. Batman doesn't fear Scarecrow or even being killed. He fears being exposed. To illuminate the shadows where Batman hides would take his power away. To reveal his identity of Bruce Wayne. To reveal the wound that the death of his parents caused would break who Batman is. Batman does not exist without the shadows. As Batman uses his strength and his gadgets to traverse this landscape and avoid the illumination of Scarecrow, he makes his way to the Bat Signal. The signal of hope not only for Gotham City but for Batman himself. Using the symbol he hides behind is the only way to break this nightmare. And after shining this light onto Scarecrow, you arrive back into the morgue where Oracle frantically tries to contact you saying she lost her connection. Batman says he's fine, he just had a little run-in with Scarecrow. And then he continues on his way through the asylum.
Now madness takes you forever.
At this point, you have no reason to believe Scarecrow is still out in the asylum causing havoc. I mean, you defeated him already. But after walking through a doorway, you get a little subtle cough from Batman and a little hint that there's some gas in the air. Fear gas. Batman's fear is put on display again as reality starts to crumble away. You turn into an endless hallway. Lightning strikes and rain begins to fall indoors. The camera angle does its unnerving tilt and the sounds of the city come through. Police sirens and car horns as this Arkham hallway slowly transforms into an alleyway of Gotham City. You hear Batman's father start to speak.
I can't believe you insisted on sitting through that movie again, Bruce. Come on. We'll be late for Alfred.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
The narration continues as the hallway continues to degrade into the street. You slowly realize you're listening to these moments that led up to Batman's parents' murders. You hear the decision being made to cut through the alley so they aren't caught out in the rain for too long. You hear the mugger approach them, you hear these fatal gunshots, and the terror of a young Bruce Wayne. Here is where Batman stumbles. His slain parents appear before him. He is reliving the greatest trauma he has ever known in his life. The murder of his parents right in front of his eyes. He is transformed into his 8-year-old self, crying on the ground. The bat signal shining down on top of the scene, representing the moment that Batman was created. You continue walking down the hallway as young Bruce, hearing more voiceover. This time it's Detective Gordon talking to you. You hear police officers saying Bruce Wayne will be fine because he's rich, but Gordon tells them to shut up. Gordon has compassion for Bruce, and it shows just why Gordon means so much to Batman. As you reach the end of this hallway, Bruce asks Gordon why his parents died. All Gordon has to say is, I don't know. It's just this city. You open the door at the end of the hallway and you transform back into Batman as you enter another one of Scarecrow's floating nightmares. His syringes loom over you as you're presented with another twisted landscape. Instead of a morgue, it resembles a clock tower. Scarecrow patrols with his spotlights as you have to perform your way across all these obstacles to reach the bat signal in the distance. The clock tower may represent Batman's desire to turn back time, to make sense of his parents' death, to do something maybe. As an 8-year-old, he expected himself to do something to stop the murders. He wanted to stop the man from killing his parents, and this is the guilt that controls his life. It's the guilt that made Batman, to make sense of the I don't know that Gordon gave him as a child. Batman is Bruce's answer to why. And his parents' death still remains his nightmare. Scarecrow summons some skeletons from the ground in this level, toying with Batman, knowing that his toxin has reached a little deeper into Batman's psyche. Still, Batman reaches the light. He shines it onto Scarecrow, and the broken clock tower is transformed into the real tower of Arkham Asylum, and Batman continues on his way, not acknowledging the mind-tearing Scarecrow put him through.
Patient interview 9. Dr. Crane continues to evade questions. I believe he is quite sane, just evil. He takes no interest in the people he has hurt. His research appears to be the only motivating factor in his life.
The third and final nightmare starts a little more sudden than the prior two. There is no camera tilt, there's no subtle gas in the air, it just starts with a quick call from Batman and then you think the game crashes. There's graphical and audio glitching before it cuts to black. The title sequence starts to play and you think maybe the game just started all the way over, but the title is off. The bat signal's turned upside down and it looks like Scarecrow's face. A sign on the road warns that Batman might be an escaped patient from the madhouse. It's made glaringly obvious once it's revealed that Joker's the one driving the Batmobile that this is another nightmare. The roles are swapped from the intro. Batman is being brought to the asylum by Joker. Batman is restrained on the stretcher and being wheeled in by prisoners and Harley Quinn. Instead of Blackgate prisoners calling out to Joker, it's Commissioner Gordon and the Warden calling out to Batman as he's wheeled by. You warp into Batman's body as Scarecrow is scared as he does a quick analysis of the new patient, right before Joker pulls out a gun and shoots you in the face. The game even breaks the fourth wall by giving you a death screen, saying use the left stick to dodge Joker's gun. So you're expected to run this scene again and dodge this time, but instead it cuts to Batman's grave, a tombstone that reads RIP Bruce Wayne. Batman claws his way out of the ground and the third nightmare begins. You come across multiple projections of Batman in cells, mimicking the psychotic and demented patients that you have encountered all game. You even see Batman hunched over gnawing on a dead rat. It's very clear this third nightmare represents Batman's deepest fear. The fear that he is in fact the crazy one. The manifestation of his deepest thoughts. What if he is delusional? Just as twisted as the Joker or the Riddler or Victor Zsasz. All these people he looks down on. What if he is just like them? He uses that as his foundation for why Batman doesn't kill, because then he would be just like them, but maybe that is really the only string holding Batman back from being just like them. And it's made clear how fine that line actually is, and how that fine line haunts Batman. I mean, he dresses like a bat, he hides in the shadows, and he jumps across the city at night, working towards what he himself believes to be the greater good. What happens if he is killed or found out to be Bruce Wayne? What is it that the world will see? A broken 8-year-old boy's mind, guilting himself over a lifetime of the death of his parents that he thinks is his fault? That he should have done something? That's what the third nightmare is. Batman's sole purpose that he has drawn out for himself, becoming a delusion, and it's him who belongs in the asylum. As you advance through this twisted level, Scarecrow summons more skeletons and ghouls for you to fight. Similar to the last two nightmares, you make your way across this corrupted nightmare to reach the bat signal to defeat Scarecrow once and for all. But before reaching it, reality breaks in and Batman has Scarecrow by the neck. Scarecrow quickly injects Batman with more fear toxin and replunges him into the madness. Scarecrow, even more confident this go around, toying with Batman, staring down at him as he summons more ghouls to fight Batman. You defeat waves of enemies, illuminating spotlights that burn Scarecrow until the final light glows, and you use it to defeat him for real this time. Break back to reality, Scarecrow is confused why Batman isn't a victim to his fear. He says that he's injected enough toxin to drive 10 men insane, but Batman is still fighting it. He scurries away, asking, "Why fight it, Batman? You're just as crazy as the rest of us. You need us just as much as we need you." And then he threatens the whole town, continuing the presence of the Nightmare Forever. Those three events in this game really stood out to me. It's incredible level design, and it tells a story with gameplay and intense visuals, showing how much trauma Batman's mind has really gone through, showing how much he worries about the people he won't be able to save, including his parents, who he still blames himself for their deaths, and ultimately, he worries if he's doing the right thing at all. Taking the role of the police and the DA, becoming the judge and the executioner on his own terms. Maybe he is the crazy one after all. His mind is constantly torn with these thoughts and memories, but even at the game's resolution of these events, we are left more disturbed than comforted. We take a peek as the audience behind the curtains of the Dark Knight, and there is no real resolution to anything. He isn't convinced either way that he isn't crazy. Who knows if the next dose of Scarecrow's toxin will be the one to throw him overboard, or if he does lose another person that he tries to save, like Commissioner Gordon. What will it be to keep Batman sane after that? This game truly excelled at showing how refined Batman's skills in combat and detective work are, but it also showed us just how fragile of a mind Batman is, on a continuous tightrope of being plunged into madness. Thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. I do appreciate it. I do hope that you enjoyed it. I do have to do the YouTuber thing and ask you to like, comment, and subscribe, but ultimately, I just hope you enjoyed the video, and I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Peace.
Wait, so much, you just don't care. And if you like the secrets and
Everybody let me hear you say, oh yeah, hold your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. And if you like fish